So guys, you know what the situation was like with Aaron Rodgers in this passing game last year. Tight end heavy, quick game underneath, and a receiver room so banged up that by midseason, they were just looking for anybody who could line up and give them a target. They still made the playoffs, but that offense was not fun to watch. And instead of running it back the same way, the Steelers made some real changes this offseason. There's a familiar face calling plays now, somebody who already knows exactly how to get the best out of Aaron Rodgers, and there's a new name in that receiver room that I think is going to change how defenses have to approach this offense completely. So stick around because I'm going to break down exactly what they did here and why I think this group looks nothing like what we saw a year ago. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.
So let's start with the biggest domino in all of this, and that's Mike McCarthy coming back into Aaron Rodgers' life. I mean, think about how big of a deal that actually is. This isn't some coordinator learning Aaron Rodgers on the fly, trying to figure out his tendencies, his footwork, what he likes pre-snap. This is a guy who's been through years of it with him already. Last year, that offense was built around tight ends, a lot of stuff underneath, and honestly, it just never looked like a natural fit for what Aaron Rodgers wants to do with a football. Now you've got a coach in the building who already speaks his language, and that alone changes how fast this offense can operate this season. But look, I want to be honest about where Aaron Rodgers is physically right now, because I'm not going to sit here and act like nothing's changed. He's not scrambling out of the pocket and making guys miss in open grass anymore. That part of his game, it's basically gone, and defenses know it. They're not respecting the legs the way they used to, which means they're playing him a little differently than a few years back. But here's the thing, guys, and I think this gets overlooked a lot. The mind is still elite. There's not a look in this league he hasn't already seen 100 times over. Maybe it takes him a beat longer to process something unfamiliar, but once he sees it, that ball is coming out fast and it's coming out accurate. So yeah, the wheels have slowed down, but the arm and the eyes, that combination hasn't gone anywhere. Now, this is exactly why last year's receiver situation was so frustrating to watch, because it put all the pressure on one guy. And I want to be clear about something. DK Metcalf was never the issue. The dude can play, but you can't ask one receiver to be the entire passing offense by himself, especially on a team that only dresses 5 wide receivers on Sundays. When the group behind DK Metcalf got hit with injuries, that thin depth got exposed fast. On paper, they figured they had enough pieces, but paper doesn't account for who's actually healthy come Sunday afternoon, and that's exactly why this front office didn't sit around waiting on this. They went out and added talent specifically to fix that room, not just to add bodies for the sake of it.
Now, if I throw some light on a guy who's clearly still the head of this room, it's DK Metcalf. Everything runs through him first, and it should. He's the guy who can take a short throw and turn it into something explosive after the catch, just because of how he's built. But what I think people are going to start noticing more this year is how much easier his job gets when there's real threats around him. Last year, defenses could load up and dare everybody else to beat him. This year, that's not really an option anymore, and that opens up exactly the kind of downfield opportunities for DK Metcalf that got a little limited last season with how much of that offense was quick game, in and out, over the middle. And that brings me to the addition that I honestly think doesn't get talked about enough, and that's Michael Pittman Jr. Think about what this offense actually needed next to DK Metcalf. It needed someone who could consistently win in the middle of the field. Digs, hitches, crossing routes, the stuff Aaron Rodgers has thrived on for years. That's exactly what Michael Pittman Jr. brings to this room. He's not going to scare anybody with pure top-end speed, but he's going to box guys out, he's going to high-point the football on third down, and he gives Aaron Rodgers a target he can trust in a tight window when things get chippy. For a quarterback who's always valued timing and precision over just raw speed, having a guy like that as the number 2 is honestly a massive upgrade from where they were a year ago. Now, while those two are locked in at the top, the name I keep coming back to when I think about who could really break out is Jeremy Bernard. And what stands out to me about him is just how much he's had to adapt already in his career. Different programs, different systems, different roles, and he's found a way to figure it out every single time. He's not the kind of guy who's going to blow you away with one elite trait on tape, but he does pretty much everything at a solid level, and he plays through contact really well, which matters a ton in this league. For a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, who's about as detail-oriented as it gets at that position, that kind of reliability and football IQ is exactly the type of trait that earns trust fast. And that sets up what I think is genuinely one of the more interesting battles to watch once camp opens up, and that's Jeremy Bernard against Roman Wilson for that slot role. From what came out of the spring work, Roman Wilson has been getting the bulk of those first-team reps, so right now he's ahead in that race. But here's the separator that I keep going back to. Jeremy Bernard has shown he can create separation right at the line against press coverage, and that's something Roman Wilson has struggled with more consistently. In an offense that's going to need guys winning early against man coverage to get this thing rolling, that one detail could end up deciding who's out there in those key third down situations come the regular season.
Now, here's where it all starts coming together, because none of this matters if Aaron Rodgers isn't actually building real chemistry with these guys right now. And from what's being said, that's exactly what's happening. He's out there working with this group, figuring out who does what well, and honestly, he's not shy about being direct with these guys either. If something's not working, he's going to tell you. If he likes what you're doing on a certain route, he's going to lean into that. That kind of communication, that back and forth between quarterback and receiver, that's how you build actual trust on the football field, not just in a playbook, but in real live reps. And for a young guy trying to find his footing in that room, that honesty from a guy with his experience is honestly a gift, even if it's a little intimidating at first. And that's really the whole point behind what Mike McCarthy is doing here. He's not building some generic system and hoping Aaron Rodgers fits into it. He's building this thing around exactly what makes Aaron Rodgers effective right now, at this stage of his career. Quick access throws, guys who can win in the middle of the field, a downfield element that can be had rather than forced every single play. That's a completely different approach than what we saw a year ago. And honestly, it's the kind of approach that plays to his strengths instead of exposing what's changed about his game physically. So when I step back and look at this whole picture, I genuinely think this passing attack has real reason to take a jump in 2026. You've got a much deeper, more talented receiver room than a year ago. You've got a coach who already knows how to build weekly game plans around this quarterback, and you've got a young guy pushing for real playing time who could end up being one of the better stories on this roster by the end of the season. Last year, this offense survived on toughness and just enough. This year, with the right pieces finally in place, I think it's got a real shot at looking like something completely different.